Hello and welcome to the first top 25 of post MSI in 2024. If you're new to the channel, I do my power rankings every couple of weeks whenever I get a day off. On the board right now in blue represents what the Discord chose as their top 25. We had 7 participants. Hopefully throughout the split it goes up. If you'd like to participate, go on the Discord. Teams that also got votes that did not end up in the top 25 for the Discord: EDG, CFO, 100 Thieves, Mad Lions, SoftBank Hawks, Thunder Talk, Astral, Vitality, RNG, and GAM Esports. So those teams not on the, they receive votes, but not enough to end up in the top 25. So we're going to go through this. And, I honestly, after doing mine and then actually looking at what the Discord came up with, we had a lot of similarities at the top. But down towards the bottom where it gets a little murky, there's some differences. A lot of roster changes occurring in the LPL, kind of throwing things off. So we'll go through this. First, in 25th place, I have FearX. FearX made no changes this past split. The Discord has IG 25th and FearX 24th. IG are out of my top 25. They made quite a few roster changes. They brought up a different top laner. They've brought in another jungler, an LDL mid, and really all they kept was the AD carry, IG. So IG are out of my top 25, and FearX were 24th for the Discord. FearX, like I said, not changing anything. Willer was my LCK All-Pro was my first team All-Pro in spring. Statistically, he was super strong. A lot of people, don't actually look at the stats. If you look at the stats, he was the leader in a lot of the categories, and if he wasn't first, he was second. And it's hard to ignore somebody that dominant statistically. I don't care what team they play for. A lot of fanboys would say this or that, but usually, like I said, they're a fanboy of a certain team, certain player, and they can't handle, that sort of scrutiny towards one of their players. So 24th and 23rd, CFO and SoftBank Hawks. Full disclaimer, I do not watch minor regions, and I do not watch tier 2 leagues. So, with that in mind, CFO and SoftBank Hawks are on here due to PSG's success at MSI. We saw how well the PCS first seed did getting out of play-ins and then also taking BLG to 5 games. They deserve a lot of respect. Yes, they lost to G2, but they still deserve a lot more respect than people gave them going in, including myself. So SoftBank Hawks and CFO go on here because SoftBank Hawks got 3-0'd by PSG, but they also have Evi, who we know. They have 3 Korean import players. I think Vista is no longer considered an import. I think he's played in, their mid laner. Marbles are 80 carry. Mid laner might be Jet. I know they have, it's Dasher. They have Forest from T1 Challengers, Dasher, Marble, Vista. They have good players. And if PSG are able to do as well as they did, SoftBank Hawks, are solid. From Japan. And then CFO, they have Karsa. They have Jimian. No, they don't have Jimian. They have Karsa, Gori, Shun, I believe Kaiwing or Sword Art was their support. So they have good players. CFO has good players, players we recognize. And the fact of the matter is, if PSG has players we recognize, CFO does, they're competitive. They're competitive. They belong in the top 25. So that's a thing. Now, 22nd. Team World Elite for me. Or 22nd. They have made some changes to the bot lane, committing to stay. That's wrong. They didn't commit to stay. They've brought in LP from RNG. I thought LP did very well with LNG last year and honestly deserved more of an opportunity. And then, in addition to that, they've brought in Mark for Iwandi. I think that move's kind of meh. So, in my opinion, did Team We get better? I don't really think so. I think they're pretty much the same. And that was a solid team in the LPL last year. And they have last split, and they have solid players. So, they're 22nd. 21st, OMG. We'll see how Zhao Feng does in his second split. Some interesting notes to go over. He didn't play Sejuani at all in spring. I noticed that when I was doing my patch video yesterday. If you missed it, a lot of people not interested really in the patch video. That is what it is, but Zhao Feng, not a Sejuani enjoyer. A rookie. We'll see how he does in the second split. They've also replaced Abel with Starry, and I am curious what the ripple effect will be in draft due to that, because Abel used to eat 1 to 2 bans every game with Samira and Tristana bans. So that is a thing. The Discord had it FlyQuest, Kwangdong Freaks, OMG 21st through 23rd. FlyQuest are not in my top 25, and neither are the Freaks. 20th, C9. Similar to the Discord here. Theoretically, I'd like to think Thanatos is better than Fudge, but he is a rookie in a new environment, new country, new culture, everything. He hasn't played in a while. In addition to that, nearly on a stage as big as a Tier 1 region. I mean, you could say, well, Challengers is a really competitive league, and it is, but it also isn't a Worlds qualifying league. This is going to be a big deal, and there are going to be hiccups. And if I said this before, if folks don't give him grace for any speed bumps along the way, I think those people are the ones that you got to kind of write down and put on a list of these people are the ones that we don't take seriously furthermore, because he's a kid and things are going to happen. And I don't know, C9 kind of imploded in spring. Of course, they were the team expected to win, and they simply threw it away. So they're 20th. Oh, that wasn't supposed to be in red. That was supposed to be in purple, but I probably don't even need to change this. But 19th for me are going to be Vitality. Vitality made a change. They got rid of Douglas, brought in Linkus. Linkus is a player that I believe deserved an opportunity for a long time. Statistically, he was very strong again this year with Carmine Corp Blue. But Douglas, I think, is just an outright better prospect. He's younger. He has more carry potential. Might not be as good of a facilitator, but Vitality kind of tried to force him into that role this past winter and spring. With all the rumors that are coming out about the players possibly, the coaching staff possibly wanting to have him either way in the case of Linkus. It kind of sucks for Douglas. I would have hoped that Douglas would have gotten a more fair shot at that spot, and if they weren't going to give it to him, let him free. Regardless, I thought Vitality are Worlds contending team, as in going to Worlds before the season started, and that still remains the same with Photon, Vethio, Karzi, and Hilly. 18th for me, FPX. So a lot of people might say, oh, FPX, that's a lot lower than I'd have them, and hell, the Discord has them 10th, I have them 18th, right? So that's a big difference. The Milky Way factor is a thing, right? He was excellent in his first split. But as the meta changes, can he keep up with that? Can he give them a well-rounded champion pool? Do Kerr and Jala, who return to form, the way that they played in spring when the meta changes? Do the bot lane return to form? So does the bot lane return to form? Because the bot duo, in my opinion, were very strong. Their champion diversity was a massive X factor that allowed FPX to get away with the things they did and Milky Way be able to play the carries the way he did. So if FPX can't have that champion diversity in the bot lane, they might struggle. I think teams also got better in the LPL around them, and that's something that we'll go over. So FPX to me are 18th. Speaking of teams that got better, 17th, Anyone's Legend, which is also where the Discord had Anyone's Legend. Discord went Anyone's Legend, Weibo, LNG, C9 in this group. Weibo, LNG, and C9 getting 6 of 7 top 25 votes. Anyone's Legend got all 7. Anyone's Legend made a change. They've brought in Ale in place of Harry. Harry, by far the weakest player on Anyone's Legend. It was not close. They've also brought in Tabe. Tabe, BLG's coach last year. A lot of people forgetting how well BLG did after bringing in Tabe. With Danny, they were struggling. They were not nearly as good last year. And I think, too many people forget that. Does Tabe turn this around like BLG? I don't believe so. I've seen people in the Discord rank them as high as 3rd. I wouldn't say that. But I think they're in that group of teams just below the teams that I have contending for that 3rd, 4th world spot. So that's a thing. Next, 16th, EDG. So EDG have brought, well, essentially since last split, they have improved their jungler from Monkey, who was solid, and Monkey does deserve an opportunity in the LPL somewhere else, and brought back JJ because he was injured. So that's an improvement. Mid lane, Fisher is out, Crying is in, improvement. AD carry, the Snake, no longer starting. Leave is starting, improvement. Vampire, no longer on the team. Wink brought in, improvement. My hand's just like improvement, improvement, improvement. They're better. They got better in 4 or 5 roles. EDG, solid team, and with JJ and Leave, I do believe they are better than Anyone's Legend and FPX because of that. Next, 15th, I have Fnatic. Discord also has Fnatic here. I do not have BDS in my top 25. The Discord had them 16th. I've not been a big BDS guy. So, Fnatic 15th. Razork, Humanoid, very good players. I'm high on Oscar. I'd like Oscar to continue to get better as the season goes along. June finally heating up alongside Noah. I guess there were some communication issues and maybe expectations of players within that team at MSI that weren't reached. But, excuse me, as players play together longer, you'd like that to just work itself out. Of course, at an international event, tensions are higher and expectations for chemistry and synergy are expected to go a little quicker. So, Fnatic are a solid team. Razork, Humanoid, excellent. And they can go far with just those 2 players. And then, of course, if June continues to just show up the way he did in playoffs and MSI, he's in the conversation for one of the best supports in the West, if he can keep that up. 14th, top LCS team, Team Liquid. And I'm not going to lie to you. And this is where the Discord had Team We. So we have very different opinions of some of these LPL teams. TL, I'm still not sold on TL in the way that I've already said. I think if you ban out APA, you take them away. Yeon did do better at MSI. He did get better overall. And that is something to note. Now, I would still pick Fnatic if they played again today. And with that in mind, I have to still put TL over Fnatic because, they haven't played since then, and that's the last result we saw. So that's just a fact of the matter. But I'm still not a super big TL guy. I'm just not. No hate to TL, but just not my... there's pizzazz, and pizzazz is good, but you need more pizzazz, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Weird picks are nice. I like champion diversity, but that champion pool has to be an ocean and incorporate all those things to kind of get that going. Impact is solid, Umpty is solid in top lane, top side, and honestly, the sort of consistency that TL can bring can beat teams that have bad days and play very inconsistently, like a Fnatic, like a Cloud9, like a FlyQuest, and things like that. Their highs aren't as high, but their lows aren't as low, and that works out for you sometimes, so that's the thing. 13th, KT. KT did not make any changes. They still have Perfect, Pioshik, BDD, Deft, and Barrel. Great players. Perfect, we'll see how he does in his second split. We'll see how Pioshik continues to do in his return to the LCK. In the Deft Barrel situation, that's a coin flip bot lane in terms of what Barrel brings to the table. So they at any time they can beat even Gen.g. I believe they did in spring if we think back on it. But there are also times where they'll just int their faces off and lose to a team that stinks. So that's kind of the deal with KT. Next, PSG, 12th. So because of that, I have PSG higher than them. Because some days KT loses to teams that are not as good as them. Similar to how I feel about Team Liquid Fnatic, PSG, KT. PSG, solid, show up, and they're going to do a good job. Are they going to dominate the game? I don't really think they're going to run away with the game, but they're a team that knows how to play it out and get the job done, and they did it against very, very good teams at this tournament at MSI. So really that's all we can go off of when we try and compare minor regions to these major region teams. Historically, the PCS has been as good as these major region teams, so this is not just a one-off or a fluke. This has been a consistent occurrence over the years. So PSG are 12th. 11th, Ninja in Pajamas. Rookie, like I said, my MVP in the LPL. In spring, in terms of most valuable player, it was Rookie. His stats were dominant in the mid lane in the LPL, and nobody else really on NIP were nearly as good. Shanji needs to step it up more. Fodic needs to step it up more. Aki and Zhuo leave a ton to be desired on that team. I am curious if they would go after somebody like Iwandi. I think Iwandi is better than Zhuo, and if you throw him in the bot lane alongside Fodic, who knows what's going to happen. Honestly, I think that just came to mind as something that could maybe bring NIP up a little bit more because, I mean, Rookie's just... It's going to be tough sledding for him to get the job done. Speaking of another team with some holes in it, LNG. So Scout was awful in spring, and Gerb brought up a really good point in the comments, and maybe I shouldn't have punished Scout so much, dropping him out of the top 5. Theoretically, that's fair. Now, the Shadow Edition is concerning. I do think he's worse than Weiwei. Do I think Weiwei is this great jungler? No. But I do think he's better than Shadow. So now that they're thinking about making roster changes like that, it is something to think about. They've also brought up another top laner. I don't believe that that's a real thing. If it is, I mean, LNG are even worse than this. But the fact of the matter is, Zika, Scout, Gala, Hung, those are great players. We saw them at Worlds last year. And, I mean, Weiwei or Shadow in the lineup, they're still a upper half LPL team easily. They're better than the majority of the teams in the world. Remember, this is top 25 of what are 40. Well, we take everybody into account. It's probably like 70 teams or something. But, yeah, we're just going to go with that. So, 10th out of 45 because there are no minor region teams above LNG to talk about. 9th, D plus Kia. So, Lucid needs to continue to develop, and the bot lane needs to step it up and actually utilize the damage that they're getting. Utilize the gold they're getting to deal some damage. There we go. Aiming has always been a resource hog, and that's why I've had him in high regard. I'm like, he is a true carry. But if he's not dealing the damage anymore, what are we doing here? This damage to gold ratio needs to be stronger. I do think Kellen is very good. A lot of people give him crap. I said it in my video with a couple days ago about Kellen. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday in the patch video. You're not going to find a free agent support better than Kellen, so Kellen is probably the best option. And then Showmaker, good. Kingen, solid. It's just a matter of Lucid, continuing to develop. A lot of people wanted to shoot him down already and put in Tarzan. I think that is ridiculous to do. Similar to the Dagla situation, when you commit to a young player like this, you commit to them the whole year. You don't do this half-ass nonsense where you bench them after a split because you finished 4th in the regular season or 5th or whatever. Like, development is what you committed to by bringing them in. 8th place, Weibo. So, much higher than the Discord. I mean, 18th and 19th for Weibo LNG. Additions, Breathe and Tarzan in the top side. That makes that team a threat to go to the big dance. Tarzan much better than Xiao Hao. Tarzan in my top 5 junglers in the world. I don't care, oh, he does this at internationals. The fact of the matter is he's a domestic menace. He is a super good jungler. He's a great jungler. Breathe. Solid top laner where ZDZ was awful often for me for Weibo and with anyone's legend last year. Zhao Hu left a lot to be desired. He needs to be better. If Zhao Hu is better and Breathe and Tarzan just play how they are, Weibo are going to Worlds as the 4th seed. I think that is a thing. But they have to do that. And then when they get there, who knows? We saw Weibo make a run at it at Worlds last year, and they have 3 of the 5, and Tarzan is more than capable of getting there if he can work those demons out. 7th, JDG. 6th, Top Esports. Why are JDG and Top Esports there? I mean, JDG, I think, need to commit to Sheer right away and just play with him and just go with the flow. Because at this point, doing this back and forth nonsense, I don't really enjoy, especially the players so young like Sheer. If you want to commit to Flandre, that's fine. Send Sheer down to LDL. Give him stage games. Give him more time. Because they give you different vibes. And there are teams in the history of LOL to have, 2 different type of players in a role that offer different vibes to the team. But JDG are better served with Sheer in top lane than Flandre, given the way they play the game. So that's a thing. 6th, Top Esports. If you didn't watch MSI, I'm a big fan of a lot of the Top Esports players. I think they have really talented players in every role, and I mean easily top 6 players in you could argue 4 of the 5. 5th, G2. G2 beat Top Esports handily, so they end up above Top Esports. Do I think on every... like I said after that, actually. Similar to how I felt about TL and Fnatic. I would take Top Esports to beat G2 the next day, and I would do it the day after as well. I think Top Esports have better players, and therefore I would pick the better players to win a series over, what just happened yesterday. But either way, because I haven't seen him play since, maybe Top Esports just are always going to be that terrible. And G2 will always... Well, G2 did play since then. Is something to think about. But regardless, G2 5th. I mean, if they continue to showcase the wide champion pool they showed at MSI, they're going to be up there and competitive with the best in the world because they're capable of doing that. If they go back to how they played in winter and spring and play more of a consolidated style of play, then I'm probably going to drop them a bit as the split goes along. 4th place, HLE. HLE could win Worlds. They're the type of team that if you don't play at your best, you will lose. If you play at your very best and you're a team probably in this group, you will beat them, in my opinion. It's just a matter of what are you doing? If you're not playing at a 9.5 or a 10 out of 10, they're going to win. But if you're playing, but that's kind of the deal. HLE are like a 9.5 out of 10 team, and they're always there. Zeka may have a champion pool that isn't as massive as we would like, but Viper and Delight are disgusting in the bot lane. And that in and of itself, paired with a Zeka, a Peanut, and a Doran, HLE are solid. 3rd, T1. T1 also could win the whole thing, of course. Meta dependent. If Faker's more on a playmaker, facilitator, and Zeus can carry, they're going to be solid. T1 fans not happy with Owner not being in my top 5 in the jungle. While Faker didn't have to hold his hand. That wouldn't be the case, but he does still have to hold his hand when he crosses the street. So that is what it is. 2nd, BLG. And then 1st, gen.g. I mean, like I said, the top part of this was actually unintentionally the same as the Discord. I think that's pretty... Like, the tiers to this, usually, since I started doing these videos in the power rankings, I've always said this column here are the teams that I think could win Worlds. And right now, that's not the case. Personally, I think it's just, well, there is a world, like I said, if G2 has some crazy champion pool stuff going on and you can't draft against them, they could win. They could win. Top Esports could win, JDG could win, and I think Weibo are capable of doing that. So, with that in mind, sometimes it doesn't always happen. Maybe towards the end of the split, it'll drop down to where it's like, okay, this is the realistic group of teams. But I think there's just tiers to it. Of course, Gen.g are first. They won MSI. They've won the LCK. They beat BLG twice. So BLG definitely are not first. And the fact of the matter is, BLG may have better players, but they just don't have it at the tournament in the end. I mean, Knight got it done last year, but the rest of BLG simply cannot get it done at an international event. And now Gen.g got over the hump. And who knows what PaZe is going to be in summer. I'm really excited to see how PaZe performs now with this confidence after that finals performance. So thank you for watching. If you like the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord. Become a YouTube supporter. And hope to see you again tomorrow.